So we can start. So we don't need an introduction round. So everybody knows you because you're on the picture, and the title and the job title from you is also published there. So welcome on stage. Let us start. Welcome to the Hyperloop Conference 2023. We will discuss the next 45 minutes regarding passenger transportation. Let us start. Lucienne, you from InnoEnergy was the main part, and you invested in a lot of Hyperloop companies worldwide. Why you did it?
Is it on? Yeah, it's on. Well, we looked into mobility and transport. And of course, we were founded by the European Union back in 2010. And our mission is to bring innovations fast to the market and really make a change. And if you look at the mobility and transport sector, a lot is happening. Electric vehicles are, almost everywhere, even over here. Everyone is driving electric or hybrid. But if you really do the calculations, then you see that won't cut it. 2030 targets, that's basically tomorrow. We won't get there. 2050, that's even more challenging. So you need to have something else. You need to really make a step change. And you need, especially for the public infrastructure, really a different technology. And then we actually met with, I think with Tim, your co-founder first, and Mars, and he explained all the benefits of Hyperloop. And the main game change for me was, it's not rocket science. It looks great and futuristic, but it's basically technology off the shelf, and you need to implement it and come up with a good system and the lane switching technology. And they showed the lane switching technology, and that was the moment that we thought, okay, let's do the first investment in Hardt. We invested in 2018 in Hardt, later on also in Zeleros, and Novome is not here. That's the third company we invested in, and we are in touch with the others as well. Great technology moving forward, and 2030, well, let's make it happen, eh?
Great. Mars, what do you think about that? She called you, and then she got the luggage with money to you, or what was happened? Was it quite fast?
Of course, we had to work hard also to convince InnoEnergy that we're the right company to invest in. But I think it was a great fit from the start. I mean, we were already looking as a Dutch company, of course, very quickly across the border, right? Because with Hyperloop you get to the border quite quickly. So we wanted to look for partners that could also help us build out that European ecosystem better, right? And so there was a very good match between InnoEnergy, both representing the European Commission and European industry, at the same time really focusing on that energy transition. And because, of course, one of the main goals here is to drastically reduce the energy consumption by about 10 times. So we felt like that was a very good match. So, and it was very happy that they managed to just put that through, because it really helped us to get through that's sort of those points where it's very difficult to raise the funding for Hyperloop because it's such a long-term development, right? The benefits come very late in the process, so we really need visionary investors like InnoEnergy to pull us through that.
Thank you, Mars. Zeleros, Alejandro, in which year they invested in your company? Was it last year?
No, it was. I don't remember very well because I just been 9 months, but it was in. It was the year before, I believe. I believe it was not last year because I was already in, and it was not there. It was already in InnoEnergy. Okay. So it was the year before.
Okay. And you are competitors, but you are working. You are working to make it happen together.
We prefer
the European Hyperloop Development Program.
That's correct. We are more collaborators than competitors right now. I think we have synergies, and it's good in some way that we don't see as a competitor, as we need to push and create the ecosystem. So it's better to be together and work together to become a reality, you know. It will be quicker, and it's a win-win situation for everyone, just not for a company. I think the market is amazing, and it's a great opportunity for any player worldwide. Simple as that.
That's the right vision, in my opinion, for sure. And you are working on one standardization together.
Yeah, so there's the official standards being written on a European scale already. So that's called JTC 20 Hyperloop Systems, Joint Technical Committee. And from those will come EN standards. And we're also looking at whether that can be linked to ISO standards for the longer term, so it can also be part of the global standards. Right now, the first standards are being published there, which are still quite high level. You know, we're talking about vocabulary, we're talking about requirements. Over time, this will go into more detail to actually really also standardize more specifics within it. But it's good to see that, you know, we've started working on this.
And you know, Mars, I'm working also for Deutsche Bahn at the same time, but I'm a moderator, so I'm pushing the topic into Deutsche Bahn, and also Jörg is an early adopter and a fan of an Hyperloop. That's why he is here. And Jörg, we are still working on it to give to the right decision makers at Deutsche Bahn a massage, that they are open-minded and open enough to invest in that new type of future of mobility technology. Why is it so hard for us to get Deutsche Bahn into the Hyperloop ecosystem finally?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Martin. So there are some points to be addressed from my personal perspective and also from Deutsche Bahn perspective. So firstly, maybe why Deutsche Bahn as one of the leading operators in the railway industry is interested in that technology. We're independent from any industry. That gives us the opportunity to discuss very openly with all the colleagues. We did with you. We also discussed with Nevomo and other parties. And this gives us a very perfect insight and maybe also our help to your companies asking questions about operability, about transport systems, and also about standardization. Maybe the discussions we held over the last years have been helping to develop this joint idea, and I'm happy to hear this here on stage that you are collaborating and we are working on standards. We will hear this later in some masterclasses as well. And coming back to your question, Martin, why is Deutsche Bahn so hesitant in, let's say, bringing official power to this program? We need more Luciennes, for sure. We really, honestly spoken, we need more entrepreneurs like Mars or all of us here. It might be not a secret that Deutsche Bahn is facing some difficulties during the last years about reliability and punctuality, and that's why we encounter some problems in getting official acceptance for providing some really powerful ways into the future. But nevertheless, there is a strong and even growing group of railway and Hyperloop enthusiasts, Martin, myself, and a lot of people more, and we won't get tired in always, what did you say, massage our people to push them to accept that this Hyperloop idea, this is not a hype anymore. This is an industry trend, and we need to follow. And I think this is the same situation for each big operator in the world. If you are not part of this, you will lose the game. So we really need to go. We really need to be in there.
Thanks that we are not alone. Yeah, and we have also Arbeitsgruppe, a working group at Deutsche Bahn. A technical committee is published since last year, and you are the head of.
Yes, I'm the head of this technical committee at Deutsche Bahn. So there are, in this wonderful company, we are following some trends from autonomous vehicles, from drones to BIM, and some other technologies, including Hyperloop. But as said earlier, it's a bit underneath the curtain also, still.
Still working on it. It's a hard ride. Yeah. Mr. Hu, you have a contract with Hardt Hyperloop. Can you explain to us and to the audience, speak about it a little bit?
Yeah, we actually the POSCO group decided to invest some money to Hardt, and actually before investment, POSCO group have some research on the Hyperloop system, and also at first POSCO group is a steel making company, so we just saw the future market, just the future market, but actually try.
We cannot hear you.
Hello? Yeah. Yeah. Actually, starting at first, we just approached the Hyperloop as a steel supply market. And during research about the Hyperloop industry and also technology, we've been seeing the future transportation. So actually the steel can be supplied from POSCO, and also POSCO International can be the partner of the futuristic transportation. So that's why we invested to the Hardt. And also, not only Hardt, we are open to the Hyperloop developers. So we are thinking of how can we provide our steel, not only our steel, also the Hyperloop industry, the whole technology about the infrastructure, and also want to be some partnership with the Hyperloop industry. Through that, we can make some better, smart world. So why POSCO Group invested to the Hardt first?
Why you are here? What is your wish to the Korean audience? Maybe some people here are investors, maybe some people are here are suppliers, corporates, individuals, change makers. What is your wish to the Korean audience and participants here? Because you flew a long time, and I know the direction from Amsterdam Schiphol is quite fast. For me, it was not fine to come from Berlin to Amsterdam. But I look older as I am, you know.
I was lucky, yeah. Now, for me, it's really from two perspectives. One is that I think it's interesting that the Busan, of course, is going for the Expo 2030. Actually, I was here 3 months ago with our our Minister of Trade from the Netherlands, where she said that she would support Busan in the Expo. So I think that this could be a very interesting opportunity. 2030 is perfectly within the time frame where you would want to demonstrate a short pilot route, right? To demonstrate something like that at the World Expo so that everyone in the world could see it. I think that's a very amazing opportunity. Of course, we'll see in November where the voting will be. And of course, if it wouldn't be here, there's still an interesting opportunity to do some kind of a pilot like that. But I think that in particular is interesting. But of course, even bigger is that there is already a lot of development on Hyperloop here in Korea, specifically around the KRI project. I really believe that for the Korean ecosystem, it is also very interesting that we can converge towards a single technology. Because as we already spoke about, on the one hand, we've got a very strong transport industry here in Korea, but also a very strong export market. So it is in the interest of the Korean stakeholders also to develop something that fits with the rest of the world's market. And we see that there's a lot of strength here to bring something like this to reality. So we were very happy to collaborate with the local ecosystem here to see if we can converge towards a single worldwide Hyperloop system and see if this could be the first place to actually demonstrate it.
Yeah, say everything. Well, I think in the same way that Maria's appointed, first of all, Korea is a great country, technologically speaking, and also is the industry is really powerful. not only in Korea, but regarding exportation. So for us, is combining this know-how that you already have with our expertise as well, you know, towards to achieve Hyperloop reality. So your success will be our success too. This is the main point for us also.
Always the chicken and egg problem. So who is the chicken, who is the egg? Both are eggs? Maybe, maybe truffle. Maybe truffle eggs. Do you like truffles? Truffles? There's also a truffle pizza I like. Special ingredients. Lucienne.
Just to add, you're already very elaborate, but the 2030, that's the perfect timing actually. So you already showed a very nice timeline, 2030, the first routes being developed. Why not here? It's the window to the world, the rest of the world. The Expo in 2030, that would be the perfect opportunity to show Hyperloop is a reality and that people can travel on it even. So great companies, great country. Why not use this at the starting point for the Hyperloop? Here you go.
Yeah, actually, I'm living in Korea, so why I'm here, and also in the Hyperloop business is not just market only. I mean, we can change our life. So through that, we can see the future and vision. And not just a vision, I want to realize this vision to the reality. So that's why I'm here. And thinking of this vision and joining to the whole project with Hardt in the EHC program and also HDP program, I realized we need more technology especially in POSCO side, we are approaching in the infrastructure. So in the infrastructure, we we need a huge investment to the infrastructure. So if we have some cost reduction in the infrastructure, we can be more we can easier to realize this vision to reality. So I'm trying to this vision to reality through developing some modified or advanced technology in the infrastructure, how to reduce the cost, and also hope to supply some material to the market. Yeah.
Thank you. Jörg?
Yeah, Martin, so there are, for me, several reasons. First, I'm a Hyperloop enthusiast, as you know, and for me it's great to see the Hyperloop family again and to greet some new family members. That's a big honor. But in my typical business life, I'm also responsible for international mobility, coming from Deutsche Bahn, speaking for Deutsche Bahn. So part of the business is to answer questions worldwide. How is mobility evolving? Where do we go? What's the next item for high-speed traveling, for ultra-high-speed traveling, or for last-mile solutions? And everything is covered within my field of duty. And this is the perfect platform to bring back all these creative ideas, all these really done efforts, both in knowledge transfer and money investment, to bring something to life. So two main reasons. First one being Hyperloop enthusiast, second one bringing back all the expertise to my typical business.
Thanks, special thanks for your time. Now I want to open the round. Your questions, please. Who has a question to the panelists?
Yeah.
Please come to me, because we are filming it. It's live on Arte, always. So we have a live stream here, so you can stay here and discuss with us. Yeah.
Question for the group. So in my bringing about SwiftTube, I've had quite a fascination with Hyperloop, but I think that our our savior and God, Elon, kind of led us a little bit astray, perhaps with the requirements for vacuum tubes and levitation systems. So what other types of tube travel have been investigated without using vacuum tubes? Have we done any full-scale modeling of normal atmospheric pressure in very drag-friendly tubes, if you will, and large diameter wheels in order to reduce dynamic instability? Have any of those been explored? Is there any way that we can explore that?
Who wants to ask that?
Anybody? Has anybody?
Yeah, I did. So to be completely honest, when we started Hyperloop, I was first a little skeptical myself about the solution, and I wasn't completely sure whether it was the right way to go. And for me, it's always been about looking at what sort of the needs are in the public transport system and then developing something specifically for that. And I've really tried to look at what all the different ways of doing it is. We've looked at specific use cases, for example, for cargo, where we also looked whether we could use Hyperloop there. And I did notice that sometimes there were use cases where Hyperloop simply was not the right solution and where it would probably make more sense to use tubes with lower speeds, maybe wheeled solutions. But then there are other use cases where Hyperloop makes much more sense. And in that case, I did at some point find out, okay, I really believe in Hyperloop, right? We did all the modeling, we did all the socioeconomic cost-benefit analysis, and saw there are enough use cases where Hyperloop makes so much sense that we as a company really focused on that. But I do also really believe there are use cases where other solutions may be better. We just decided as a company not to pursue those because you can only do one thing really well, right? So, but that's how it was from our perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Mars, you told a personal story, so I will follow. In my younger engineering years, I really was into maglev technology and following the Transrapid with all the ups and downs. And whilst having this in mind, there is also a nice little program. I think it was invented, or the idea came through in 1974, called Swiss Metro. So running regular trains in evacuated tunnels across Switzerland. And this use case was never been seen as positive. And so I was very happy years ago that somebody took on this idea again with a combination of maglev trains and evacuated tubes. So as you said, I'm also convinced that the business case needs to be defined on its perfect setting. Let's reach out to the colleagues of Nevomo. They are doing a slightly different approach. We may discuss technically at a later stage, but every technology may have this use case.
Just to add one component, already very early on when I started working, and I'm always working in innovation and technology, I learned it's not about the best technology. It's about the use case, absolutely, but more it's about the momentum. Is everyone backing it up and making it happen? So I think we are already past the comparison, what is the best technology? We are betting now on Hyperloop. The momentum is being created at this very moment. The business model behind it makes sense. The use cases are really making sense. So I think this is the momentum, and we are past really comparing the technologies, even if there are some better ones around. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Any other questions from the audience? Please, Mr. Professor Kim, come on stage, please.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to ask something. I heard a lot of technical things from you, and I learned a lot. But I'm wondering, as a government perspective, in addition to technology, we need some government regulation, safety and insurance, and other business models, social acceptance, etc. Just wondering if there is any international organization to coordinate this kind of whole issues as a platform, as a maybe, just wondering. I mean, yeah, or you. So if not, we may think about that very seriously to organize that kind of international kind of organization. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Kim. It was the same thematic with flying taxis. Yeah, when new modes of future mobility are coming up, you have also two showstoppers in the game. One is the social acceptance, and the second one are the regulations. And that's why you are working on a standardization and new regulations, together shaking hands with political members. We have the same thematic in Germany. It's always in every country the same. I give these questions to Lucienne or to Jörg? You're sharing. Ah, yes. So
it's about collaboration. No, really important points. And I will start with 2 points and then you will jump in. The first of there's already a first draft of a program in the Netherlands, the Hyperloop development program. Mars mentioned it. And there's the social acceptance already addressed. Is it completely covered? Absolutely not. And you need to have it a global coverage. Lots needs to be done still. TNO is taking care of that part. Safety or the standardization. The preparatory work, I would say, is starting and the Hyperloop developers are working on it, but more needs to be done. Jörg will jump in onto it, on that one. And what we are trying to do today is also start a Hyperloop alliance, starting in Europe, combining everyone, the complete value chain in Europe, but we are open to get other countries in as well. We had a first discussion just 2 weeks ago in Spain to see if we can help to copy the development program of the Netherlands to Spain, and that can be done to other countries as well. And now I will hand over to the other topics.
Yeah, so adding to this, and thank you for the question. So coming from an operator's perspective, we are allowed to ask always the bad questions, and this is about what's about standardization and what is about regulation. And I can, if I may, Martin, I would invite you to masterclass number 3, where we go directly deeply into that topic, because for us it's important that we have a technical safe system which is operational, but which is following our regulational rules from country to country. But as Mars already said, and we all agree, this is an international connection. So we need to have this on an international level.
I think we need some official international organization supported by
That'll
each
be
government.
perfect. Yeah.
Supported by some official international organization. Yeah. If there is any international transportation union, something like that, I don't know, like a telecommunication union, something like that.
That could, I think you, Professor Kim, that could be a good starting point into a working group together with you, all the Hyperloop enthusiasts and companies to make a matchmaking. That's why we created that platform and that Hyperloop conference to make it happen. And that would be perfect. And thanks for your openness and kindness that you are willing to collaborate together. I thank you. Thank you. Applause to Mr. Professor Kim. One last question from the audience. First this man, but we have to make it short. Into television, we have a tough agenda. Say your name and...
Yeah, so I'm Alex, a researcher from Latvia. And question, what about passenger safety if we speak about challenges for passenger transportation?
Thank you. wants to answer?
Well, regarding passenger, in our approach, it's like an aircraft. We are working in the pressure atmosphere like an aircraft. So for us, we reach the same standard in aviation. So for us, it's important. It's the key number one, but it's already mentioned. Is now when our team is working on the safety aspect. And also you have to take in consideration that the infra side is quite important. In our calculation, the system, the vehicle, is only 24%, and the rest is infra. So we need to now really change with the infra to see how it's going to be the safety aspect, for the passenger. That is the key now for us.
Yeah, just a quick answer from an operator's perspective. So a transport system needs to be be safe. So this is key number one, and everything goes. Every other thing about speed connections comes beyond. So safety first.
Yeah. When I'm thinking of passenger tube comparing to cargo tube, I think it's I'm working in infrastructure, so it's a matter of size. So if we increase the size, we need more material, and so we need to save some material weight in the infrastructures, and also, but with increasing size, we need, if we want to use this tube for passenger, we need more safety factor. So that kind of things are mixed. We need to increase hugely comparing to cargo tube. So that's a major challenge for the infrastructures. And also with that safety level, in practically in installing and manufacturing side, it's not easy to move that kind of big tube for weight, and also there is some limitation of size in the road transportation. So for the infrastructure, the safety also, and the real, how to make it real is a very big problem for the size and the weight. So it's a very big challenge.
Question answered, Mister? Great. We have also some speed dating sessions where you can into a bilateral conversation together with all of you. Last but not least, your question, but then we have to jump into the next session. Please come to me. Professor No? Lee.
Okay, I'm so glad to be here, and especially I was very impressed by Jörg. Yeah, Deutsche Bahn. Yes, your wording. You just mentioned that if you're not part of this, you lose the game in the future. Yes, and also as you may know, there are three big global markets like U.S. market and EU market and Chinese market, and also as you, actually people outside of European countries, as one of them, I think I have thought that actually Germany is the country leading EU, yeah, and also in that sense I think your participation is very important here and very meaningful. Yes. So my question is, when it was about 4 years ago when I was just saw the picture about Hypertube. Yeah, when I was 10 years old. It was when I was 10 years old, and now it's going to be very much more realistic than that. Yeah, than that time. So when do you think it would be real? And do you think this is the way you can establish your policy, future policy, for the development of European trailway? Yeah, that's my question.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Yeah, I try to give a short answer. But we can expand this discussion, obviously, at a later stage. So from a German perspective, I think we discussed it a bit earlier. It's not about building new corridors. We have a lot of transport corridors. Many of them are working properly, some of them not. But we don't have any free space anymore. So we really need to create some solutions where we can add some capacity to existing transport corridors. And according to our ideas, a Hyperloop system could help to build that, because we can have a more dense traffic on Hyperloop lines than on existing rails, and especially on existing highways, Autobahn. Looking from an European perspective, I'm really keen on seeing if this thingy in Venice to Padua is coming to life. There are other ideas connecting European cities, but I also see connecting new corridors throughout the world. Looking into Korea, we've seen some ideas. I want to also bring some of our ideas into this, is the connection in Africa between Johannesburg and Cape Town, or looking to Australia, Melbourne, Sydney. So use cases are different from Europe to other parts of the world, but the technology is able to fit for all of them.
Answered. Question answered. Bullet proof. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Great. So we can follow up later. So many thanks for that emotionally discussion-friendly panel discussion. You can save these faces. During the speed dating sessions, you can go to them. They are quite introverted, but they can be sometimes extroverted. So you can discuss with them. Jörg is extroverted for sure. But please follow up these discussions in the breaks. So many thanks to have you here on board in Busan. Thank you.